I'm Ainsley Harriott, and as a chef, I've been inspired by food from all around the world. But one thing I never really explored is street food. So I'm travelling to less trodden parts of the globe, into the world's back streets, markets, and kitchens, to find the world's most exciting street food.
Delicious.
Dishes normally reserved for locals.
Oh my word, what is that?
But street food's experiencing a revolution, inspiring modern chefs the world over. From the Arctic Circle to Southeast Asia, and from the spice souks of the Middle East to the beaches of the Caribbean.
Whilst there's still a few secret recipes out there, I want to find them, I want to cook them, and I want to eat them. Well, I'm in North Africa. This is the Moroccan city of Fez.
I want to find the flavours of real Moroccan food. I love the tagines and the warm scent of couscous. But there's so much more to Moroccan cuisine. There's local ingredients and the spices they use in their cooking. From North Africa and France and Spain.
That's really nice.
There are dishes here that you won't find anywhere else. And traditional recipes I've never cooked before.
I'm so proud of you.
There are surprises.
I thought it was sweet.
And it feels like every shop is selling something irresistibly tempting.
So it's not surprising that Fez is the eating capital of Morocco.
The heart of this city is the ancient walled Medina, dating back 1,300 years. It's a tight warren of narrow streets and small alleyways. It's noisy, hot, and endlessly busy. I'm here just before Eid, an important moment of celebration in the Islamic calendar, held just after Ramadan. The ancient city has become even noisier, with families vying to buy the best sheep they can. The tradition is to take it home and slaughter it there.
How much for one of these? 1,800. They bring the sheep into this little square here. They've got 5 or 6 sheep, and within 10 minutes, gone. 1,800 each, they're gone.
Buying a sheep is a big commitment for most people in the Medina. They can cost as much as 2 weeks' wages. This is also one of the most amazing cities in the world to eat. There's street food everywhere, but not much that I recognise.
Yeah, I'm going to try a bit of this. Oh, lovely. All right then, beautiful. Thank you. I thought it was sweet.
What I imagine to be a date or a fig is more like a cheesy bit of carpet.
It's savoury. What is it, beef? A hemp? Oh, it tastes like hemp.
It turns out that it is beef, air-dried and preserved in fat. Say no more.
I'm definitely going to need some help around this place. It's like a labyrinth around here, you know, it's like a maze. You don't know where you're going, what you're going to find. Unbelievable. Help!
There aren't any street names, but you can buy anything here. And some of it is a bit rich for my liking. But behind the shops and the tiny streets there are mosques, bathhouses, and even what they claim to be the oldest university in the world. But right now, what I'm after is lunch. And this looks promising.
You know what this is? What food is it?
The fruit, no.
You don't know the
Do
fruit?
you need any help?
Yeah, maybe you could help me.
There is that. What he's serving is veal trotters.
Veal trotters?
Yep.
And you're eating this? I'd love to taste it. Can I join you? Really?
This looks really authentic to me. This is traditional cooking with the unmistakable smells and flavours of Morocco.
That's really nice. Oh, wow. That just says Morocco to me.
There's a real art here. They take cheap seasonal ingredients and transform them with spices and slow cooking. It's taken years to perfect.
Now, what have we got
Now,
here?
these are lentils, traditional Moroccan lentils. The spices we use on these lentils are ginger, onion, coriander, garlic,
Yeah.
and olive oil. That's
All
it.
those flavours you're talking about are coming through.
Growing up in Fez, Abdul Ali has a few hidden gems just like this.
This is where the locals hang out, is it?
This is where most of the local would hang up, and this is my favorite place.
What are you doing to me?
Well, try the tomato.
Is this your kind of local restaurant then?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
My canteen. In Morocco, you have a huge diversity of food.
Wow.
How about that? I mean, everybody gets stuck to the tagine or the couscous, but in fact, they have hundreds and hundreds of different dishes.
That's it. I found my mission, to go and discover some of those dishes.
Actually, you free? Okay, mate, let's go. Cheers.
I'm crossing the city to meet up with a tourist guide called Siham.
It's hot out there today, isn't it, eh? Really warm.
I know that if I try to find Siham on foot, I'll get totally lost in the Medina's maze of streets. It doesn't even have a proper map. On the other side of the city, I find Siham in another bustling street. I want to get a sense of how people live here from day to day.
Wow, watch out, Ainsley.
I know. Wow. God, this is incredible. Yeah. It's just busy, busy, busy the whole time. Why is it? What's going on?
Because the Eid is coming, now everybody is buying a sheep, and everybody is buying fruits and vegetables, and even spices. Because like the market is going to be closed for a week, so they need to buy everything before.
Everything's going to close down?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's a bit like the pre-Christmas rush back home.
It's just a real buzz of energy, and everyone's just loving it. Everyone's getting excited for this big celebration this weekend. This is mad here. Look, let's get out of here.
Okay.
To escape the crush of the small streets, the locals take a break in one of the many little tea shops. Drinking herb tea is a national pastime in Morocco, and this place is Siham's favourite. But there don't seem to be any other women around.
Is it a mainly sort of a male society, do you think? Dominant society?
Well, here in the Medina,
Yeah.
you still have that feel that it's more about men, especially in cafes, in small shop of teas like this. As an example, if I'm not working, I can't stay here by myself, only with my friends. This is like you'll find more about men, the men area.
Okay.
So we're entering to the men area.
Yeah. It's interesting to know, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
The tea here is a combination of mint and herb leaves, infused in steamy sweet water.
Hot?
But delicious.
I know.
Delicious. And what is it? The verbena in here? And...
Verbena, sage, absinthe, and mint.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. لا هي هو.
Thank you.
Oh la la.
How refreshing.
شكرا. This is the orange blossom water, and it's a symbol of good luck in Morocco. This tradition is starting to fade away a little bit, but in here you're still gonna see it.
What one dish would you say this tells you all about our city?
Without any question, pastilla.
Pastilla.
Yeah. I mean, pastilla is a savory dish with cinnamon and sugar on the top.
And what's it? Is it a sweet? Is it dessert or is it savory?
No, it's a savory. Like you find pigeon inside, or chicken, fish, meat, vegetable.
Literally anything.
Whichever way you want to prepare it. Let's say Ainsley is coming to my house for the first time. I won't prepare for you just something like normal, but I will prepare for you pastilla because you are a special guest to my home.
It's a real celebration dish then. It's one of those that you do on a special occasion.
Yeah, it's only for special occasion. As an example, when I was a little kid, whenever I was seeing pastilla, that was like a feast to me because it's not like a daily basis dish that you eat it every day. It's only for special occasions.
Ah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, that's been fantastic. It's been great talking to you, Siham.
Thank you.
You've given me a real insight. into
you.
your city. I want to go and discover it now. How you say cheers?
بصحة.
Saha.
بصحة.
Bisaha.
Yeah.
Bisaha. Bisaha.
بصحة.
Fantastic tea, mate. Absolutely brilliant.
Enough chat. I want to cook using some of the most wonderful spices and flavours I've tried this morning. So I throw caution to the wind and head deep into the Medina. And one stand, bright with olives and salted lemons, grabs my attention.
Do you know what? Seeing them preserved lemons give me a really, really good idea. Hey, mate, is it Dejref Mijri? Dejref Mijri, which is grilled chicken and lemons. And I've got some fantastic preserved lemons here. I'll get them. Can I get 4, please? 4 lemons? Oh, thanks a lot. Cheers, boys. Thank you.
Deshwef mishwi is a traditional way of cooking, but what makes it stand out is the sharp tang of preserved lemons with smoky marinated chicken grilled on skewers. But first, I have to find the rest of my ingredients.
Excuse me, do you know where the butcher's is? The butcher's. Do you know where the butcher's is? Excuse me, the butcher's, do you know where I can find the butcher's?
Yeah.
Down here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you show me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Cheers.
I wanted authentic, and that's exactly what I got.
Whoa, whoa. This is a difficult one. I didn't expect you to. I didn't expect you to kill the chicken. Can you not buy chicken pre-done? No. You have to buy this.
There's a certain honesty in all of this. People know where their food has come from and know that it's fresh. Here in the Medina, most people don't have fridges, so in this heat, buying a chicken and cooking it that day makes perfect sense.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, my man. Thank you. My first hot chicken. It's going to be extra hot. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great. You going this way?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, come on in. That's great.
Finally, with my chicken sorted, I follow my nose to find a friendly charcoal grill. It's not long before I find a couple of places. This one actually looks a bit small. The one next door is perfect. After checking with the owner, I get started with my Moroccan marinade. I begin with slicing my preserved lemons and then some roughly chopped parsley. Crushed garlic with a little local olive oil will bring the marinade together. Then all those wonderful spices you can smell everywhere in the Medina. Cumin, smoked paprika and golden turmeric. A pinch of saffron will complete those North African and Middle Eastern flavours.
Oh, wow. Wonderful, vibrant colour. Yeah? You like?
Yeah.
Oh, these are all the flavours here that we normally associate with this wonderful city of Fez. Everywhere you walk around here, you've got all these lovely smells just everywhere, all these wonderful spices. It just kind of gets right into you.
Finally, coat the chicken with the garlicky lemon-spiced marinade. Oh, so aromatic.
That is perfect. All those wonderful... Oh, it's a great smell, that. Absolutely fantastic. Pop that in the fridge, let that marinade for an hour or two. Be great.
There's no chili heat in my marinade, so I'm looking to make a classic harissa dressing. And all the ingredients to make it are right here in the market.
Is this harissa or chili? Harissa. Oh, thank you. There was I was thinking of doing a fresh harissa with caraway, coriander, garlic and chili and all that. And they've got it here. And if it's okay for the locals, it's got to be okay for me.
Golden marinated chicken, the citrusy bite of preserved lemons and sweet red onions, grilled slowly over smoky coals. Wow. While they cook, make the harissa dressing. Couldn't be simpler. Add some finely chopped onion, crushed garlic, and some fresh shredded mint to locally bought yogurt. Squeeze in some lemon and stir in as much harissa as you dare. This one's really hot, so beware. Juicy kebabs, tangy lemon and warm spices from the Medina. All they need now is local flatbread and a cool yogurt dressing spiced up with some harissa. I know Siham is really proud of the local food. So what will she make of this? What do you think?
I love it. Just lovely.
You like it?
A lot.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my friend.
And I love the way that you've done the preserved lemon. They look just amazing.
And it's quite nice. I put the onion with it just to kind of hold it intact so it didn't break down too much.
Yeah.
It's quite nicer to eat, you know. It kind of gives it that citrusy flavour, you think?
No, the combination is just fine. Not just wine, but just how to describe it. Amazing.
Fez is extraordinary. I don't feel like I've even scratched the surface of this ancient city. And I've got a feeling there are plenty of adventures ahead.
No. I know. They're raw, mate. They're not even cooked yet.
The French ruled over Morocco for the first half of the 20th century. And their influence is still strong, especially in the cooking. But I can't sound crazy about everything they've bought here. Snails? Huh. These guys are looking way too fresh for my liking.
They're raw, mate. They're not even cooked yet. Look at this, look. Are you serious? I can't eat that now. This is breakfast. Merci. I'll come back later. Merci beaucoup.
The French also introduced pastries, baking and pies to Morocco. And I'm looking for something much more like that, as I'm hungry and it's breakfast. Along one of the Medina's many winding back streets, I come across something quite unusual. It's not exactly croissant, but looks intriguing.
Nah, that looks more like it. That's much, much better. Yeah, great. Got to try that, mate.
These crumpets are called baguette in Fez. It means pancake with 1,000 holes. And they're delicious, sprinkled with a little sugar and some honey.
Oh, it's like a moist crumpet with a lot of sugar on it. No problem.
I'm interested in how Arabic and French cuisine come together in Fez. And Siham has a few places she wants to show me.
So where are you taking me now?
Well, no, Ainsley, I'm taking you to some place that it's special.
Is it special?
Yeah.
Everything, everywhere I go for you is special.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, what's this?
This is a phyllo dough, and we call it three.
Look, she's so skillful.
Yeah, I know.
Wonderful the way they just stretch it. Look at that.
That's because, like, it's been a year and a year of practice.
Yeah. She's been doing it all her life, probably. And she's got such style the way she does it. Very thin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very thin pastry. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Look at that. Look at that. That's fantastic. This a hot dough?
It is hot.
Wow. This is amazing. Look at the way they cook it.
Yeah.
How do they use it?
After it's done, we put to it chicken, like cooked chicken, and lettuce and spices. And sometimes we have it just plain because it's tasty by its own. Sometimes we dip it into honey paste with a phyllo dough mash.
Maybe some cinnamon and sugar would be nice with it.
Why
'Cause
not?
it's a little bit like a pancake, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're a fine pastry person with the hands.
قال لك انت صافي واعرف هذيك تصاوب ديالها غير باليدين. Well, they're saying like she's been learning for 2 years just to make it.
3 years. Can he make it?
قال لكم انت تقدر تصاوبه. Yes.
Yes.
But she said no.
But not. No, she says no. He says yes.
He said I'm not gonna make it like. Oh, she said if he make it, she's gonna give him a 50 dirham. No.
Yes, there you go. It's brilliant. Thank you. Shukran.
شكرا.
I'm in the mood for cooking something using local breads and pastries. Siham mentioned earlier how much she loves the celebration dish pastilla. But for it to be authentic, I have to find a very unique pastry.
Waka pastry? This one, waka pastry? I've been looking all over the market. I've been searching for this. You can't buy it everywhere. That's brilliant.
This waka pastry is very close to phyllo pastry in texture, and you can use either to make pastilla. But when in Fez, I'm going with the locals and using waka.
It's going to make all the difference. Thank you.
Chicken pastilla brings together layers of light, crispy pastry, filled with a sweet and savoury mix of saffron-infused chicken and spiced almonds. It's a dish for family celebrations. I start by lining an oiled pan with a thin sheet of waka pastry. This dish is traditionally made with pigeon, but I'm using chicken that's been braised with ginger, cinnamon and saffron.
You don't mind if I shred it with my knife?
No, it's okay. The tradition is to shred it with hands first, so you don't mind if I'm doing it with hands.
Do it any way you want, I don't care.
Okay.
Lovely. And would your father prepare something like this, or is it specifically for...
My father? Never. I've never seen my father inside the kitchen.
Isn't it amazing?
The pastilla is all about building up layers of savoury and sweet flavours and textures. A few hard-boiled eggs roughly chopped will bring another texture to this dish.
And when I poached off my chicken, what stock was left, I reduced it all the way down.
Yeah.
And it ended up with this lovely concentration. Smell that, Siham, look. Isn't that lovely?
Nice.
What transforms this dish into a Fez classic is a rich mix of toasted almonds, some almost toffee-like medjool dates,
A touch of cinnamon.
and warm scented ground cinnamon.
And a little bit of sugar. Not too much, huh? Perfecto. I think that's a lovely, lovely mix.
Now it's just a matter of making layers of the nuts and dates and the saffron-scented chicken.
Look at that. It's just so beautiful. Makes you hungry, doesn't it, when you see it like this?
Add a top layer of soft onions caramelised in honey.
That looks fab.
And finally, a light brush of melted butter will turn the pastry a beautiful golden brown.
If someone didn't have an oven in their home, where would people bake this?
We normally bake it at the local bakery.
What, you take it to the bakery?
Yeah, and he just knows
He
the
or she
right...
will bake it for you?
Yeah, and he just knows the right amount when it's going to be cooked.
Why would anyone buy an oven if the local baker will cook everything perfectly for you?
Here we are, just right in the corner.
Oh, great. Oh, great, yeah. Oh, wow, look at this. This is great.
Yeah.
Come on. Hey. Fantastic.
The local baker is totally unfazed by our pastilla. He even knows how long to cook it for.
It's a great oven, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
After 45 minutes, the pastilla is ready. Traditionally, it's sprinkled with icing sugar and cinnamon.
Oh, look at this, see him, huh?
Wow.
Hey.
Look at the layers.
Hold this for me.
Okay.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah.
Wow.
Not bad. First attempt.
Okay.
It looks lovely and moist, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks just, I mean, look at the layers. Wow. Wow, when you start putting the dates and putting the eggs on it, I was thinking how it would be, but it just works perfectly. I love it.
Yeah?
I just love it.
Lovely flavours. I love that chicken. It's so... Oh.
In one dish, you have the complex flavours and history of Fez. French-style pastry, Arabian spices, nuts and dates from Africa.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
Like
you.
making pastilla for the first time. That's
Really
amazing.
nice of you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Siam. Really nice of you.
As Eid draws closer, the old city begins to gear up for celebrations. I've never been anywhere quite like Fez, and just when I think I've seen it all, Abdul Ali takes me somewhere out of this world.
It's like we're in the medieval times here.
We are right in the Middle Age here.
Fez Medina is a World Heritage Site, a medieval city in the modern world. People work, live and eat here. And everything has to pass through these tiny little streets. Eid is just days away, and the atmosphere in the Medina is changing. The little shops will soon be closing for a 3-day holiday. And I feel like I've travelled back in time.
What I love is
In the heart of the Medina, I've met up with Abdelali for a classic Fez breakfast. I've noticed these little places serving what looks like soup, and they always look so popular.
So what's in there? It's like a pea soup or something, is it?
Broad beans for this one, but you can do it with green peas. Have a look at how we're going to serve it.
The traditional soup is called basara. Broad beans have been slow cooked with roasted garlic, olive oil and cumin.
Olive oil. There we go. That's for you. Shukran. So, cumin.
Yeah.
And this one is chili. This is a very special bread as well. And this bread is really for this type of soup.
Yeah.
You can have one of those if you feel like it. And that can be breakfast, lunch or dinner. This is amazing.
Yeah. Now you see places like this, normally I'd say I'd just avoid it. Yeah. But being with someone like you...
Like lots of people.
Yeah. And you come in here and you realise, wow, this is so nutritious and so loving, and I say loving in the sense that it's the same recipe that's been passed down again and again. That's
and there's nothing which can be wrong with that, honestly. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. Local honestly, knowledge, though, isn't it?
It is one of my favourite places, seriously.
After breakfast, we plan a trip to one of the most iconic places in the Medina, the tanneries.
Right. Oh, by the way, do you know what is that?
Yeah, what's going on here?
On the way, we spot a couple of guys who set up shop sharpening butcher's knives in the run-up to Eid.
Shukran.
Wow. Every corner you turn in this place, something's going on.
But this job is lasting for a week.
Yeah.
That's it, for the Eid, and that's all.
Fez's main tannery is the oldest in Morocco. It's like a place that time forgot. Before they're dyed, animal skins are softened in diluted pigeon poo in up to 40 degrees heat. The people here have been doing it the same way for 900 years, but I'm not sure how.
Do you like the smell?
Oh, it stinks. I mean, this is so unpleasant. I can't believe it. This type of thing just takes your breath away. I've never seen anything like this. This is all leather, all the skins.
All leather, sheep, cows, goats. These skins arrive straight from the slaughterhouse, and they've been dealt with from the beginning to the end in this place.
And it's like you're in the medieval times here.
We are right in the Middle Age here.
You know, we just expect sort of leather to be naturally red or something like that. It all goes through a dyeing process, and the way they clean it, and the whole process.
It's a very hard work.
Yeah, it is hard work.
Really hard work.
In this heat.
After the celebration of Eid, this is where all the animal skins will be sent and treated by hand.
Is this a particularly busy time of the year with all the celebrations coming?
It is, because every family in the entire Islamic world will sacrifice a lamb.
So I should imagine the next week or so you're going to have hundreds, if not thousands of skins.
Well, this is one of the busiest time in the year for them.
Incredible.
The last sheep are sold as the festival draws closer. In the Medina, shops are preparing to shut down, but there are a few traditions that ensure they're not going quietly. These horsemen ride around the city gates announcing that Eid begins tomorrow. And I'm in no doubt that lamb is going to figure highly on the menu for the next week or so. So I decide to cook something a bit lighter today. A flamed grilled fish with a carrot and chickpea salad and shamoula, a mix of herbs and spices that gives this dish a truly authentic Moroccan flavour. But first of all, I need a fresh fish.
Shukran.
Start the chamula dressing with some roughly chopped garlic.
Got some anchovies there, a few anchovy fillets. Some capers. Beautiful. And my lovely herbs here. Coriander and some flat leaf parsley. Take a bit of that, chop that up. All right, looking good. Thumbs up. Yeah? My boy.
Chamula shouldn't be over-chopped. It's almost a salad in texture. All those individual flavours should sing out.
OK, let's get that in the bowl. And we can really start to hit it with some of our lovely spices here.
A touch of saffron, a little bit of paprika, as much cayenne pepper heat as you like, and of course some ground cumin.
And some black pepper. Get some bit of lemon juice in there. That's lovely.
And finally, a little olive oil to bring those flavours together.
Let's have a little bit of a taste of that. Straight away, you can taste the capers, the anchovies, the lemon juice. All of those flavours just work together. And, of course, the spices. Just imagine eating that with a nice bit of grilled fish. Perfect.
You're never short of somewhere to cook in the Medina.
You want to put it on the grill?
Char grill over hot coals for about 4 minutes on each side. Finally, turn the blanched carrots and chickpeas into the salty, sharp and spicy chamula and finish with some flat leaf parsley.
And that is it. Absolutely lovely.
Moroccan spicy.
Annalise Gregory is a New Zealand chef cooking in a small restaurant in Fez. Like me, she's been inspired by the complex flavours of Morocco.
And I want you to tell me what you think.
Okay.
Yeah, go on, tuck in.
All right, I will. Fish or salad first? I don't know.
Well, you can go for a bit of both, actually. Just how about the combination of the two?
Yeah, I just really want some of that carrot. It looks delicious.
Okay, nice and crunchy.
Really tasty. It's just, there's a sourness from the lemon, and then the spices start to come through, and they start off very mild, and they build into kind of a really nice heat that just like lingers.
Is that what you want then?
And it's also fresh because of the herbs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It just brings it
No,
back.
it's...
And the crunch is so important. I only cook the carrots for about 5 or 6 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Blanch them off and just fold them through. That lovely chamula dressing would just work so well.
And the fish is delicious. I'm thinking, I haven't cooked anything over charcoal yet, but I think I'm going to have to start. I'm thinking of getting, one of those terracotta tagine bases, filling it with charcoal, putting a grill on top, and just going for it.
Are you saying I've inspired you?
I think so.
I'm a happy man, I'll tell you what.
I've been here for a few days now and I'm getting a feel for Fez. I'm actually enjoying being lost in the back streets of the Medina. But there's no doubt that the atmosphere is changing. Eid is just around the corner. The shops are closing and the tourists have more or less gone. Traditions that have existed here for centuries fill the streets with noise and smoke.
To eat?
Yes.
Okay.
Dawn on the morning of Eid and Fez has become strangely quiet and calm. Goats and sheep replace the noisy crowds that push and shove through the Medina. The shops have all closed. And in the doorway there are smoky fires and makeshift grills. Goats and sheepskins are everywhere. On the morning of Eid, the tradition is for young men to come onto the streets to cook sheep's heads. I've never seen anything like this before. But I know I'm witnessing something extraordinary. And it's been the same for hundreds of years.
It's unbelievable. Everywhere you walk around these streets, there's these fires. And they're just throwing the heads and the hoofs on top of it. To eat?
Yes.
Okay.
This for this. Look.
Of to comb the hair. I have no hair to comb. Nothing. Shukran.
No problem.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Have a good celebration. Thank you. Thank you.
I've been invited to the house of a local man, Tammy, to witness the traditional slaughter of a sheep on its rooftop. I have to say I'm a bit nervous. A skilled local butcher is going from house to house, and when we get there, the business of slaughtering the sheep had already begun.
Everywhere you go, all of these roofs all over Fez, people are slaughtering sheep. This is part of their Eid celebration, and there is blood and everything else, but this is real life. This is part of a tradition that has been around for a very, very long time. There you can see all the family are here, the children are here. This is a big, big family occasion.
This isn't something that families shy away from here. It's a tradition as familiar as having a Christmas turkey, but for most of us, this is a process that is hidden from view.
All these different cuts, they're going to have to cook this really quickly. Beautiful, beautiful warm liver. The smell is so fresh.
I know that for many people this might seem out of place in the modern world, but I'm not so sure.
I just feel privileged to be here, you know? Thank you. This man's invited me into his home to see this happening, and it's a very private moment, so I feel really touched by that.
Across the Medina, every family is celebrating Eid the same way. But I'm heading out of the walled city to meet up with Siham and Chef Annalise at a farm on the outskirts of Fez.
Hi, guys.
Eid is a big occasion that the whole family get involved in. And when I arrived, they're skinning a goat together. Miriam is the farmer's daughter, and she supplies meat and vegetables to some of the best restaurants in Fez, including Annalise's.
Why are you guys here today, then? What's the idea? Were you invited?
Well, it's all because of this young lady here.
You were doing a very good job there.
Ah, thank you.
Have you done it many times before?
Oui, oui.
What is your favourite part?
My favorite part is c'est la foi.
Liver. The liver? Well, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be here.
No problem. You're welcome. Anytime.
Each day of Eid has a traditional dish, and today it's the soft part of the animals that get eaten. So Miriam's preparing her favourite dish called boulfaf, made from the liver. After a quick searing over hot coals, Miriam slices and spices it with paprika and cumin and seasons with salt. The whole family get involved, wrapping the liver in fat to stop it from burning. After a couple of minutes over the heat, the boulfaf is ready to eat. I can't wait to taste it.
I don't think I've ever had liver this fresh before, you know. It's absolutely lovely. It's not, you know, sometimes liver can have a slightly sort of gamey, people say a gamey taste. There's none of that. This is really quite subtle. It's lovely.
You get like iron note to it too. Like it tastes a bit like a nosebleed, but this is beautiful.
Really delicious. You like this type of food, Siham?
To be honest, this is the first time I'm eating the goat. Like normally I'm just eating the sheep, and I just love it. I didn't think that it's going to be like as delicious as it is.
You like liver's your favourite, huh? Favorite.
Avec le pain. Avec le pain.
Thank you so much. Shukran, shukran, shukran. I mean, it is absolutely delicious, and allowing us to come into your home like this. Look, Mama. Oh, wow.
Wait, there's more.
Wow.
Stomach and lungs.
Stomach and lungs.
I'm more than happy. I don't mind a bit of that.
It'll be a long day of cooking and eating on the farm. A real family celebration. But I have to get back to Fez and the Medina. I don't think there's any escaping it. This is the day to cook lamb. And I don't think I can imagine leaving Morocco without cooking a tagine. So I'm taking all the exotic scents and smells that fills the Medina, and I'm creating a dish around them. Moroccan lamb tagine, spiced with cumin and cardamom, served over a bed of couscous, roasted sweet almonds, pomegranate seeds and rose petals. But first of all, I need the right pot to cook it in. So I make my way to a little square, famous for the men who beat copper pots by hand.
Good?
Yes, yes.
Yeah? Not very heavy though, this is not particularly heavy. I want something a little bit more heavier. Ah, yeah. This is better. Ah, fantastic, yeah, brilliant. A tagine isn't a dish to rush. You need time so the spices give a deep, rich flavour to the meat. I'm using a shoulder of lamb. It's perfect for slow cooking. Season with salt and something known here as a bazaar spice mix. Every spice shop in the Medina has its own version. This one is made from roasted and ground cumin, coriander and cardamom seeds. These spice mixes are made fresh almost every day. It's worth the effort and really gives the tagine a unique flavour. When the lambs are rich golden brown, let it rest. Now we make the tagine. Soften some onions and garlic. Add a little bazaar spice mix. And slowly bring the softened onions and spices together. I want to add a Moroccan note to the onions, with some local farm honey and some chopped dates. Add the spiced lamb to the tagine, and all this needs now is enough lamb stock to cover, some cinnamon, and finally a cup of brown lentils to thicken the sauce. And now it's time to slow cook. I still don't have an oven, so this time I'm going to use the furnace heat from the local Hammam bathhouse. I think this is it. While the lamb slowly cooks for 3 to 4 hours in the hot embers, I prepare a soft bed of couscous with salty glazed almonds, pomegranate seeds and rose petals. Abdelali was kind enough to show me his favourite traditional dishes. You looking forward to this?
Now what have you done?
So I've invited him over to try my version of lamb tagine.
There you go, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? What can you smell?
Cinnamon?
Cinnamon is in there, honey's in there, all those lovely spices. Of course, you've got the cumin in there. It's all cooked down beautifully.
Okay. Wow.
Man.
After 4 hours slow cooking, the lentils have thickened the sauce perfectly.
Beautiful.
Yep, burning my ass. Oops. Yes.
Happy?
Fantastic.
Are we ready to eat?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let's tuck in. Wow.
This is yours.
Wow. Excuse the size of the plate.
Yes, I know. That's a modest place, but that's what we do normally. We have the same place for 2 or for 12 in Morocco.
Tell me what you think.
That's spectacular.
Was that good?
Seriously.
I really wanted to capture those flavours of fez, you know.
You did extremely well because honestly, it's a very subtle dish. Seriously, there is no flavour which takes over the other, and you can almost describe them one by one.
Oh, wonderful. That's the slow cooking, though, isn't it?
That's it.
It brings out all those lovely flavours. It's a very natural way of doing it. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, well, I am indeed. You know, it's something I would never do, couscous with lentils. Never, ever. But now, I changed my mind.
Oh,
No, seriously.
I've won you over. And I love the fact that we're sharing the same bowl, you know?
Well, it's a shame we're just 2. We should be 12.
Well, I don't know about 12.
No, we should.
That's enough for 4 here, mate. You know, it's been incredible coming to Fez. I didn't know quite what to expect.
There have been surprises,
I thought it was sweet.
welcoming people, some challenging food,
They're raw, mate. They're not even cooked yet. Are you serious? Can't eat that now.
and memorable dishes.
That's really nice. Eid was a new experience for me. Showed how families and communities really, really come together.
This week has been a revelation for me,
Thank you so much.
but I know that any time of the year,
You'd be in for one of the most exciting food journeys of your life. It really is happening. But just like
Wednesday, 9 p.m. on Morpho, a famous photo album, treasures at the right price, brand new 4 rooms. Passion's flair as Anita is taken in for testing. New drama, Humans, next on Channel 4. Start your engines, Car SOS, next on Morpho.